Greetings, and welcome to OroCommerce's video tutorial series. This is Rhonda with Oro Inc., and today I'll be demonstrating how to create and apply tax codes and tax jurisdictions. Tax codes are assigned to customers or products and indicates any tax obligations or exemptions customers may have when purchasing products in specific areas or jurisdictions. These tax obligations are considered when a customer submits an order. OroCommerce uses taxes and tax rules to find the correct tax rates to be used, binding customers to their dedicated tax rules. For this demonstration, and for simplicity, we'll be working with only 2 customers and 2 products. I'll create customer tax codes for a customer who is exempt from taxes and one who is not. For products, I'll demonstrate one product that is taxable and another which is not. I'll also create 2 jurisdiction examples. In our next video, we'll show you how to set up tax rules to bind these customers to the taxes and jurisdictions we've created. Please see our video in the media library. First, we'll explore customer tax codes. A customer tax code is a label for a group of customers that indicates the tax obligations that a customer may have. This may be a customer who owns a small business and is subject to that state's sales tax rate, or a customer who is exempt from taxes, such as a government organization or a reseller. All customers must be assigned tax codes if you want to use tax rules. You can assign a customer a tax code when customers are created, or you can edit a customer to assign or change their tax code. Many customers are not exempt from sales taxes, so a non-exempt category would be an appropriate tax code. Others, such as resellers, are not subject to tax and would be added to an exempt category. To create a customer tax code, navigate to the Taxes menu and use the drop-down to select Customer Tax Code. Click on the Create Customer Tax Code button in the top right-hand corner of the screen. Create a code for the customer tax code. For our example, we'll use non-exempt. Add a description for the tax code. When you're finished, click the Save and Close button in the top right-hand corner of the screen. You're now returned to the Customer Tax Code view page. Click on the breadcrumb to return back to the Customer's Tax Code grid. We'll repeat this process to create an exempt category for customers. For our example, we'll use reseller. Click the Create Customer Tax Code button. Create a name for the tax code and a description. Click the Save and Close button in the top right-hand corner of the screen. Now, we'll apply these customer tax codes to actual customers. Navigate to the Customers menu and select Customers. We have 2 customers. Our first customer is a reseller, so we'll edit this customer in order to assign it the reseller tax code. Hover over the ellipse in the far right-hand corner of the record and use the available quick action options to edit the record. In the tax code field, use the drop-down to select the reseller tax code. Click Save and Close to save this new information to the customer. You're now returned to the customer's view page. Click on the customer's breadcrumb to return back to the customer's grid. We'll repeat the process for our Washington, D.C. online store who is not exempt for taxes. Again, return to the grid by clicking on the customer's breadcrumb. Now you can see both of our customers have been assigned a tax code. Next, we'll examine product tax codes. Product tax code is a label for a group of products that have similar tax rules. Some types of items, such as food and medicine, are often exempt from sales tax or taxed at a lower rate depending on where you live. It's best practice to give all products a tax code if you are selling both taxable and non-taxable items. This way, after setting up payment rules and during checkout, only the items that are required to be taxed are actually taxed. To create a product tax code, navigate to the Taxes menu and select Product Tax Codes. Click the Create Product Tax Code button in the top right-hand corner of the screen. For our example, we'll be creating one code for taxable items and one code for non-taxable items. Enter a tax code. Click the Save and Close button in the top right-hand corner of the screen. And click on the breadcrumb to return to the grid. We'll now repeat the process for our taxable items. And click the Save and Close button in the top right-hand corner of the screen. Now we'll apply the product tax code to actual products. You can apply product tax codes when you create or edit a record. You can also use inline editing on the products grid so you don't have to open each record and edit it individually. For our example, we only have 2 products. One of them is a non-taxable medical item, and the other is a taxable item. To apply tax codes, navigate to the Products menu and select Products. The Products grid displays. If you'd like to see more room on your Products grid, you can collapse the side panel by clicking the double arrow. Now we'll apply tax codes to our 2 products. Under the Tax Code column, hover over the field and a pencil icon will display, allowing you to edit the record. Click the pencil to edit the record. This item is a piece of medical equipment which is not taxable, so we'll assign it the non-taxable item tax code. Click on the check mark to save your edit. Repeat this process with the second item, which is a taxable item. Now we've assigned tax codes to each of our items. Next, we'll examine tax jurisdictions. The tax jurisdiction is an address, usually in a state in a country, that have defined taxation policies that determine when and how the company should pay their sales or VAT tax and what rate should be used, depending on the tax status of the products you sell and the parties you sell to. To create a tax jurisdiction, navigate to the Taxes menu and use the drop-down to select Tax Jurisdiction. Click the Create Tax Jurisdiction button in the top right-hand corner of the screen. Enter a code for your tax jurisdiction. For our example, one of our clients are in the Washington, D.C. area, so this code will be for Washington, D.C. Add a description for the code. Choose a country, the state. And now you add a zip code range. Washington, D.C. has many zip codes. For our example, I'll just use the one zip code for the customer. Please keep in mind that when creating a jurisdiction, that zip codes are very specific, and if you do not consider the proper range, the customer might not be taxed properly. When you're finished, click the Save and Close button in the top right-hand corner of the screen. You can click on the breadcrumb to get back to the Tax Jurisdictions grid. Now, we'll repeat the process for our next client who lives in Los Angeles. Name the tax code and give it a description. Use the drop-down to select a country and a state. And now you can enter the zip code ranges. Again, Los Angeles has a lot of zip codes. We're just putting in this example to show for our customer who lives in Los Angeles. And click the Save and Close button. Now we'll create tax rates for the tax codes and jurisdictions. When you create a tax jurisdiction, you'll need to create a tax rate for this jurisdiction. A tax rate is the percentage of a sale or order that is paid as a tax in the specific state where the buyer lives. This could be a state or for a certain type of product sold to a group of customers with the same tax status. This way, when you apply the tax rules, you'll have a label that coincides with the actual tax rate. Navigate to the Taxes menu and use the drop-down to select Taxes. For our example, we're going to create tax rates for our 2 customers who live in Los Angeles and Washington, D.C. Additionally, we're going to create a tax rate for resellers and non-taxable items, which are not required to pay taxes. Click on the Create Tax button. Type in a code for the tax. Add a description and the actual tax rate for that jurisdiction. Any customers living within the zip code ranges we have for Los Angeles County will be taxed 8.5% when we create tax rules. Click the Save and Close button in the top right-hand corner of the screen. Navigate back to the grid by clicking on the breadcrumb. Repeat this process for the Washington, D.C. customer. Customers in Washington, D.C. are subject to 5.75% sales tax. Click the Save and Close button in the top right-hand corner. We'll repeat the process for our reseller and our non-taxable items. You can always click on the breadcrumb to return back to the taxes grid. Additionally, OroCommerce allows you to import lists of taxes instead of creating them individually by clicking on the Import File button to upload a CSV file. To learn more about importing and exporting, please see our video in the OroCRM video library. To learn more about how to create tax rules for the codes, jurisdictions, and taxes we just created, please see our second tutorial video in the media library. Thanks for watching. For more video tutorials, please check out our website at www.orocommerce.com/media-library.